Next, we have here in terms of entertainment. So for those who are into movies now, I'm sure with what's happening this year, a lot of people are stuck at home. You know, we do miss watching films, going to the movie theaters. But the question is, should we even go back to the movie theaters? Because as in previous discussion, in previous weeks, we've discussed that many of the movie theaters are closing down because there's not enough revenue that to generate that the generates to support the business. And with the Thanksgiving around the corner and with the Christmas holidays around the corner, you know, they're expecting a big haul in the box office in the hundreds of millions. Well, is that the case? Well, with the previous months as an example, I don't see that happening this year or even maybe even up to next year. And there's an interesting story at the end, but we'll start with this one. So typically Thanksgiving is a robust time for box office hit, right? But with what's happening in the film industry or how the film industry being crippled, well, that's up in limbo now. So the pandemic has negatively impacted every traditional box office holiday from 4th of July, Memorial Day, all the way to Christmas, right? So question is what will happen here where they typically expect generating hundreds of millions or even billions if you're a big budgeted film. Well, you don't see that happening in the very near future, right? Even surpassing the 10 million mark is a big daunting task already. So what has other movie outfits has done? Well, I think Disney tried to release their film in their own streaming services like Disney Plus, but that didn't do too well, right? And with the likes of movies that was presented or shown last year, you have Frozen 2, Knives Out, Ford versus Ferrari, all hit major milestones, reaching 250 north of 250 million dollars here. And question is, what can they do? And now DreamWorks is planning to release the latest movie of Croods, the sequel, The New Age. Let's see here. Where is it? There you go. So they're planning to release the sequel, but the question is, will it draw audiences to the theater despite the popularity of the film? Especially it's aimed for kids, right? But the question here is, it won't have a large financial impact in the 2020 box office. And obviously, reviews is one thing, but would people risk going out? Is it enough compelling reason? Especially this year, we're looking forward for the latest release of Wonder Woman 1984. So they will be releasing it later this year, but which I'll talk about in detail later on. So right now, the best path for the Croods right now is to aim to reach the 10 million mark or even 15 million mark in the first few days. But what happens after that? Do they stop showing it? Obviously, people have shifted their preferences. They wanted to stay at home. So would it be better for movie films to be streamed? Be streamed at home, the different services, whether it's HBO, Disney, or even Netflix, and so forth. In the case of Tenet, which only generated almost close to 10 million when it debuted way back in Labor Day weekend, right? So don't expect generating more in the north of 20, 30, or even 50 million dollars, especially unless there's a blockbuster film that's coming on the way, which is what we're looking for is the 1984 Wonder Woman film. But again, reports have been stated that maybe people would reconsider going back to the movie theaters when a vaccine is available and distributed worldwide, so that blockbuster films can be regularly released to the public like what it used to and change the trend. Well, that's easier said than done. And I think many companies, not just from the movie theaters, but as well as the movie makers, have already trying to find ways on how to generate revenue if people are not going to the movie theaters like they used to. Well, one of the main companies has already decided to do something about it. And in the case of this one is HBO Max. So HBO has stated that it will stream or will stream movies, or Warner Brothers Film, sorry, Warner Brothers Film will stream their movies directly to HBO Max on the same day that they drop into theaters. So that's a big deal, meaning you have the option to watch it in the movie theater, which is fine. But if you're not comfortable, you can stream it at home at the luxury at your own home. So let's see here. That's it. There you go. So as you can see here, there are a lot of films that's going to be shown. And obviously, number one here is the Wonder Woman 1984 here. Not only that, so you can see here, you have Godzilla versus King Kong, the Suicide Squad sequel, The Conjuring, you have The Matrix 4. I'm looking forward to that one. What else? Space Jam, right? The sequel to Michael Jordan's Space Jam. Obviously, this one will star LeBron James. So, if you think, this is just a temporary scheme or strategy, looking here. So you can clearly see here, if you go to HBO Max website, you can see that they're going to stream it at the same day, starting December 25. So, if you can't go out, can't watch it, you can stream it at home. But the problem here is, this only applies if you're in the United States. So unless you have VPN, for the rest of the world, you have to watch it in a movie theater. But if you have VPN, you can watch it at your home. You can stream it at home at your own luxury here. And, will this be the long-term strategy for many movie outfits, such as Warner Brothers, Sony Pictures, Disney Company, and so forth, on and on and on? Because if this strategy were to succeed, meaning simultaneously releasing it, streaming it into movie theaters at the same time, if it becomes profitable, at least it gives the audiences more options. But the problem is, what happens to the movie theaters? Obviously, the movie theaters will not be too happy that, it used to be that movies has to be shown in the movie theaters in public so that they can generate revenue in proportion to what the movie maker earns. And now, if it's directly tied up to streaming services, it's going to be a big problem here. Will the movie theaters go extinct in the near future? Maybe, maybe not, because not everyone is afforded with technology or being able to stream, can afford to stream. Especially, obviously watching movies is typically more cheaper than streaming it at home. You have to have internet, you have to have the computer to watch it, and so forth and so forth. But we'll see what happens here.